In this video, we're going to talk about animations and how to time animations to your audio. So the first thing you're going to need to do is you're going to need to go to the Animations tab, and then you're going to open up the Animations pane, and this is where you're going to see the different animations that are on the slide. The way this works is you select an item or a group of things. In this case, it's a group of things, and then you're going to select the animation that you want to apply to the item. If you're familiar with PowerPoint, you've ever built an animation, this is something you should be familiar with. When it comes in, you have the choice of doing it on a click, with the previous animation, or after the previous animation. Right now, this is set up to happen after the previous animation. If you're making videos, there is no click happening, so you probably don't want to use the on clicks. That's really more for if you're doing a live presentation and you're going to be animating yourself manually. That's when you would use that, so it won't apply here. You also have, if you right click on these things, timings. And when you select timing, you get that same on click with previous or after previous, but you also have how fast or slow the animation is going to happen. All of these that are really small like this, they're set to very fast. You may want to slow things down a little bit and move them up to fast. So here, just so you can see how this works, I'll show you. So those are all set at very fast. Let's say we wanted to do these a little bit slower so they could have time to talk. And then the last one. Okay, so look at what happened. See, our little blocks of green became longer than they were before. And down here you have a little timeline. So if you needed to scroll along the timeline, you could, if there were things further out that you needed to be able to see. So now when we play this, those come in and these come in a little bit slower. I'm going to go back to where we were. There we go. See, you saw them as I did the undo. They all went back to smaller. You can grab these and you can move them. So for example, let's say you have some audio that's going to be on this slide before these things come on, and this audio here says, okay, now we're going to talk about our first topic, whatever that topic might be, and it happens at 5 seconds in. So what you would do is you would grab this and you would move it so that you could see it starts at about 5 seconds. Okay, and then everything else, because they come after the previous, adjust accordingly. And then let's say for this second topic, the narration talks for about 3 seconds before we move on to the next one. So this one now needs to be, instead of at 5, it needs to be at 8. So we move that one to 8. And then let's say each one thereafter is another 3 seconds between them. So 8 plus 3 is 11. And then the 11 plus 3 is 14. So now if we go back and we play, these come on, it talks for the few seconds, 5 seconds is what we set it for. Then the first one comes on and then they talk for about 3 seconds, and then another one comes on, they talk for about 3 seconds, and then another one comes and then they talk for 3 seconds, and the last one comes on. So that's how you would be timing some of that audio. Now, how do you know how to figure that out? Let's just go pick some audio here. And that's going to be under audio. And we'll just pick this one. I don't even know what this is. We're just grabbing a piece of audio. And we'll put it over here. Then you have this timeline of the audio. And over here, in that timeline, you will have timings. So you can play this audio and blah, 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 it's happening. And you go, oh, that's where I want the next one to happen at 5.63 or 5 seconds or whatever it might be. That's when you go in here and you set this to the 5 seconds. And then you go, okay, now we need to do it again for the second one. Unfortunately, it does rewind back to the beginning each time, so you have to listen to the whole thing. But now you might go, okay, right about there. Oh, 10 seconds. Okay, so I was wrong. It's not at 8 seconds, it's at 10 seconds, right? So you would just shift it and move it to 10 seconds. And that's how you would adjust, and you would just keep going on down the line. That's how you adjust animations. One of the things that can happen is, look where I put the narration. You might need to move that narration to the top, and you need to put that narration with previous so that it plays. That way when you save it as a video, there's no click involved, it just automatically plays. And you'll learn that one by trying it out and making sure that you know how it all works. If for some reason these things become ungrouped, like I showed you in one of the previous videos, you will lose this item here. Okay, so if we ungroup this, now it's gone. So now you would have to regroup, put the animation back on it, and figure that back up. So just be aware that that can happen in such as you're messing around with the animations. Now you saw that these were going to come in with a fade. See that here in the animations tab. What happens instead of a fade? Maybe you want them to come in like that. Or maybe you want them to zoom. How do you adjust that? Well, you can change it just like I just did. But notice what happened here. All of a sudden it changed it. Now it's an on click again. So you have to pay attention to that. And you have to go and change it to after previous again. So now if we play this, one of the things that I want to point out that happened here is when we moved this up, these happened with the previous, but this guy moved out. Remember, he was supposed to happen at 5 seconds. Well, he didn't because he is after previous. So what you want to do is you want to make him with previous. So now he'll start at 0, and now you have to move him back to 5 again. So sometimes the animations can be a little tricky. So that one's at 5, and this one here should be with previous. And then after previous. So the audio is creating a problem, right? So that's something you got to pay attention to. We'll hit that one a little more in the troubleshooting video, but know that that's what's going on here is the audio is creating a problem. So we need to make this with previous, this one with previous, and the last one with previous. So now what we would do is this is at 5, and then we put this one at 10. And then this at like 15, this one at 20. So now if we play from here, those come in, da 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 da. That one now zooms. The next one fades. The next one fades, and so on. So that's how you would work that. You just have to pay attention to how these things are ordered. If you start messing with this stuff, you probably will have to do some troubleshooting. But animations work from top to bottom, left to right. So as things go, it's a timeline, it'll move across, and as things hit, that's when things happen. So it's really not very hard to adjust. It's just a matter of what work in that timeline and adjusting your timings and moving things left and right on the timeline.